From empire to republic, why Ankara replaced Istanbul as Turkey's capital. For centuries, the sun rose and set over Istanbul, capital of sultans, cradle of empires, and the beating heart of the Ottoman world. Its domes kissed the heavens, and its palaces whispered secrets of glory and betrayal. But then, silence. The empire fell. And from its ashes, a new vision rose, not from the Bosphorus, but from the Anatolian plains. Why was Istanbul, the jewel of empires, left behind? And what made the modest city of Ankara the chosen heart of a new republic? This is the story of a nation breaking from its past, of strategy, symbolism, and survival. In the 19th century, the Ottoman Empire appeared as the sick man of Europe, with global powers awaiting its fall. Despite its vast territory and former strength, it became unable to keep pace with major global changes. Its influence waned, and internal and external crises emerged, weakening its authority. Meanwhile, European powers competed fiercely to inherit what became known as the Great Ottoman Legacy. The Ottoman Caliphate symbolized Muslim unity, ruled by Turks under the banner of Islam. However, it found itself caught in a global struggle among major powers like Britain, France, and Russia. Internally, governance weakened and nationalist movements surged, deepening divisions and pushing the empire to the brink of collapse as it entered the 20th century. When World War I erupted, some leaders of the Committee of Union and Progress sought to keep the Ottoman Empire neutral. However, they eventually sided with the Central Powers, led by Germany, hoping to protect the empire's territory and regain influence. This decision, however, ultimately led the empire toward disastrous consequences and total collapse. The Ottoman Empire took part in several fronts during World War I, playing a key role in the Middle East, the Caucasus, and the Dardanelles. However, it suffered heavy losses, both in lives and territory. Its lands became battlegrounds for power struggles, hastening the empire's downfall following the defeat. As the Central Powers collapsed, surrender treaties followed. The Ottoman Empire was forced to sign the Treaty of Sevres in 1920, which imposed harsh terms, including territorial losses, international control of key straits, and placing Istanbul under Allied authority. This treaty was seen as humiliating and triggered an internal uproar that led to the rise of the national resistance movement. Military leader Mustafa Kemal Pasha, later Ataturk, rejected the Treaty of Sevres, seeing it as a betrayal of sovereignty. He led the Turkish national resistance movement, rallying supporters of independence. From Ankara, he declared his rebellion, formed a new government, and began the campaign to liberate the country from foreign occupation and the Ottoman regime. Despite its historic and cultural grandeur, Istanbul was not chosen as the capital of the new republic. The main reason was its occupation by Allied forces and its association with Ottoman and religious institutions. Mustafa Kemal chose Ankara, centrally located in Anatolia, for its distance from traditional centers of influence and its symbolic value as the birthplace of a new, modern Turkey. Though small at the time, Ankara held strategic value in central Anatolia, easy to defend and free from foreign control. It transformed from a modest town into the political and military command center. The resistance government was declared there, and in 1922, the new parliament in Ankara officially abolished the Ottoman Sultanate. In 1922, the Turkish parliament in Ankara officially abolished the Sultanate, ending more than 6 centuries of Ottoman rule. This revolutionary move marked the beginning of a new era. No one had dared such a step before, making it a defining moment between the old Islamic Caliphate and the emerging secular republic. In 1923, Ankara's government signed the Treaty of Lausanne with the Allied powers, replacing the Treaty of Sèvres and recognizing Turkey's independence within new borders. This treaty defined the Republic of Turkey's boundaries and was seen as a diplomatic victory for Ataturk. However, it also required Turkey to relinquish many historically significant territories. According to the Treaty of Lausanne, Turkey gave up all its territories outside Anatolia, including regions like the Levant, Iraq, and the Balkans. The state transitioned from a vast empire to a secular nation-state. The new republic focused on internal development and abandoned the expansionist ambitions that had characterized the Ottomans for centuries. The construction of modern Turkey began in Ankara. Ataturk introduced sweeping reforms in education, law, language, and attire, firmly separating religion from state affairs and founding a secular republic. These policies, born in Ankara, reinforced the city's status as a symbol of renewal and a break from the Ottoman past. Over the following decades, Ankara underwent rapid development. State institutions, universities, and cultural centers were established, and the population grew significantly. It evolved into a vibrant city, becoming Turkey's political and administrative capital, and a symbol of modernity, contrasting with Istanbul, which remained primarily a cultural and economic hub. Though no longer the capital, Istanbul never lost its grandeur. It remained Turkey's cultural and economic center, home to major media and business institutions. As a city bridging Asia and Europe, it retained its architectural and historical splendor, reflecting Ottoman, Byzantine, and modern influences, making it truly unforgettable. Ankara symbolizes the spirit of the modern Turkish Republic, a bold, forward-looking city that reflects the ideals of secularism, reform, and national unity. It stands as a powerful break from the imperial past, deliberately chosen to represent a new beginning, far from the shadow of Ottoman palaces and sultans. Istanbul, on the other hand, embodies centuries of historical depth, cultural richness, and layered identities. As the former capital of empires, its skyline tells tales of conquest, art, religion, and coexistence. While Ankara marked the rise of a new nation built on revolutionary ideals, Istanbul remains the timeless soul of Turkey, a beating heart that has witnessed the country's triumphs, struggles, and transformations across the ages. The choice of Ankara was more than geographical; it was symbolic, strategic, and revolutionary. Yet Istanbul, with all its grandeur and complexity, continues to be a bridge between the past and the present, east and west, tradition and progress.